my voice carries anyway, as you know.
Want me to keep it there?
Yeah, or you could even move it more towards them. We'll pick up Jason, do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
No, I meant more towards these guys,
over there?
actually, yeah.
I think it's pretty good, so.
Okay, all right. I try to lower my voice. Okay? All right. So we received a motion. We were just in executive session, and we took no action on item A, and we received a vote to move back into regular session. So I'll reopen regular session for October 22nd. We have a quorum, and we have our liaison, Mike McCaskill, in the audience, as well as staff. So, the first item is the consent agenda, is the minutes from September 10th. The minutes from October 1st will be held to the next meeting. Do I have a motion on September 10th?
Madam Chairman, I move we adopt the minutes of September the 10th, but under the superintendent's report, there's the first item, the superintendent would like to get the monitoring of vernal pool process automated. So as we go about that, I'd like to learn more about it.
Sure.
You know? So
Absolutely.
if you could make, that as, we get into that,
Absolutely.
all right, get a
Absolutely.
little deeper in the water or something. All right.
So, is there a motion to approve, Alan?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
And I'm an aye, 4-0. Next, we have our abatements. So first, we have the department quarterly internal adjustments. And I would take a motion to approve $3,710.26.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
And it passes. Next, we have the water department quarterly abatements for our own water department usage in the amount of $2,554.81.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. And that's a vote. Okay, now we'll move on to some resident abatement requests. And we have Wellesley here to help us through this. The first request is for a bill that was received that was over $2,000, which started with a residence having a lightning strike in their backyard, which apparently damaged many things in their house, including the irrigation module and timer. They did the repair work on their home issues and then hired a company to do the repair work on the irrigation system. And that company apparently did that work and turned the water on. And it wasn't until this department contacted the resident, and apparently that was like last May, June. And this department in September noticed the high usage and contacted the resident, and they then apparently called the company back and had it repaired and went on. So normally their bill at this time of year, would probably be $150 or $200, and they have a $2,000 bill that they're looking for relief on. So I'll take any comments, but it is an irrigation problem.
Can I ask a question?
Sure?
I don't know if anybody in the room can answer. So when the irrigation company came out and reset everything after the lightning strike? Would they have not have, I don't know what the term is, pressure checked the system then? Anybody?
It's too bad we don't have John Groff here today. He's
He
our
would
plumber who
know this.
usually jumps into all these questions, but unfortunately he's not here. But, I mean, I agree with you in essence that, they made an error, in one way or the other.
I wouldn't think that because your house got hit by lightning, you're gonna worry about the irrigation system. And obviously,
It hit the backyard, so,
so,
Traveling to the
so
line.
it creates a problem all around there.
Yeah. Well, no, they said that the irrigation company came out,
Yeah.
replaced everything and, did the wiring and valves and control valves.
But,
this is a lot of money.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I know, it's awful. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money, and I feel badly for them, but I mean, it's an irrigation problem. This company came out, and obviously they didn't do something correctly. When they turned the water on, apparently, this part to do with the drip line never shut off. So should they have come back 2 days later? Should they have pressure tested it better? I mean, I don't know, but
Could we table this till next time, till
Well,
John comes here?
we could, but to finish, I mean, it's still going to be an irrigation problem. Personally, I feel that this resident should be taking this up with the irrigation company. They're the ones who did the work, they're the ones who turned the water on.
Maybe they could we could table this until next meeting and they could come and to talk to us. I mean, you had those questions. I don't think I could vote to deny a $2,000 bill when somebody on a fixed income. I think they need the relief. It's an accident.
Well, I understand that, but of course then you're saying that everybody else in the town on fixed incomes has to pay for the water.
If they've had a lightning strike, but
No, but I mean, we all pay for the water unless the resident does, so.
I find this is an exceptional situation, but
And they-
that's my point of view.
I have one question for Wellesley. When a customer is on a large payment plan, does that being on the payment plan keep them off the process from having a lien attached to their property?
Yes,
Okay.
it protects them from fees and the lien process until it's paid in full.
I see, yeah.
In a case like this, what would the payment plan be?
We would work with them to see what is doable. Our typical plans run between 3 and 4 months, but because of the size of this bill, we've had payment plans upwards of maybe a year for service installations, bills that are in thousands of dollars depending on what their needs are. So in this case, I would probably offer maybe a 6-month, see how that goes. If that's doable, then that's fine. If not, if they need more time, then we'd extend it a few more months for them, so that if they want to pay it off sooner, they can.
Another thing we've done in the past, Bob, since you're new, and there is mention of it in our water regs, which unfortunately I don't have with me today, but in some cases, we've charged the water usage at tier 1 or at a lower rate rather than, what makes the bill higher is the amounts going through all 4 levels. So I'm just letting you know that's something that has been done.
Could we possibly respond to them saying, can they get the irrigation company to give us supporting information?
Personally, I wouldn't want to get involved with the third party.
how about if we were to split it and give
Yeah,
them
we
a
could.
payment plan?
We could split it.
Yeah.
I'd go for at least trying that.
I mean, you're given,
It's probably going to work out to be about the same as the water at the lowest tier anyway, without all the math, to tell you the truth. And we have done that. We've met people halfway. I was gonna say one thing, Leslie, reading these claims is sad. But you know how we have the information blips on Channel 8? Now, we may already have this, but I was wondering if we could devise one that says to people, you know, we have the flushing and other things, but says, you know, irrigation leaks are the most costly and common problems with your water system. And if you want to learn how to check for an irrigation leak, call the department.
It's printed on the back of every bill,
Okay.
Is it?
with an email or with a web link.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do.
Because I know you guys, you would rather speak to them and have a lower bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too bad that people can't read their own meter. I don't mean that as a down-putting, everybody has different talents to people. I just mean that, you know, she waited 3 months. It's too bad that she couldn't have looked at the meter and seen it. Must have been spinning pretty good for that kind of water.
It's not convenient.
Yeah.
I guess
Do
the
you
question
look
is,
at
do
your
you
water
see the
meter?
water
This
coming
is an
on all
older
the time?
person and
Oh,
down.
it was a
in the
leak
basement.
underground,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she was still
Drip
watering,
zone.
yeah. Okay.
Yep. Drip line.
I would first, I like your solution, but I would first like to table it and ask them to have the discussion with the company first. Because the way that it's written here, it's clearly, I think, unless I don't understand the process of fixing a system. You wanted to say something, Wilson? No.
I'm just, I would just have a question regarding fee, because if the lightning struck on May 25th, that was before our July
I
quarterly
noticed.
bill.
Yeah.
We read meters at the end of June, but this particular usage went beyond that period, and I was alerted to it when we read at the end of September to the high usage. So depending on how the irrigation system is tested, and we always advise people, when you turn your systems on at the beginning of the season, test them. Make sure they're tight, because you can go through the entire system or season and not realize it until you get a bill. So I think with this strike that happened in May, another date is not mentioned as to when the system was actually repaired. So again, it comes down to when that work was actually done and when it could have been done to prevent this from happening all the way through the summer.
I'm going to, excuse me, by reading this, and you're right, there isn't any date, but I'm going to make the assumption that the irrigation work happened in June. If the lightning strike was in May 25th, actually. So that's why I'm taking this to read that their June or early July bill would not have been large. You know, I'm just going to make the, not given the facts, the assumption that this irrigation and turn on happened sometime in June or late June, so that, you know, I don't think it would have been a large amount then. But personally, I'm not comfortable with getting in between. I'm not comfortable with a resident and a third party. I don't think that's a role of the water department.
Well, I think we need more information on this
Yeah.
amount of money. Or I do.
Is it a summer home? Do you know if the water's on all year?
Well, we don't turn it off for the season, so I'm not sure
You don't-
if it is year-round or season.
I would like to invite them to get more information.
I mean, I'm happy to do that, I just don't understand what more information we would get. I mean, it's an irrigation leak, however it happened. If I put a hole in my own irrigation, then, you know, as opposed to a lightning strike or a company doing it, it's, bottom line, it's an irrigation leak.
Well, is it as clear cut as the irrigation company did not do the pressure check? Or, you know, if John were here, he could probably give us more information about pressure check and whether or not, you know, it's always, you know, yes or no, or if there's,
But it wouldn't be anything we would do. It's not gonna influence the water department's actions.
So what's your idea? What do you want to do?
Well, I don't see any virtue to have the people come in and, you know, she's given us a lengthy letter of what happened personally, and I wouldn't want to get involved with a third party to start telling people, you know, they should do this or that. I mean, out of empathy for our residents, I would entertain Alan's suggestion, but it's the pleasure of the board.
I had a lightning strike on my house, so I'm kind of sympathetic. It's not here, but another house. And it took out all my appliances and recessed the lighting, and that actually burned the ceilings. So I'm sympathetic that the damage a lightning strike can cause. And it's reasonable to assume you wouldn't know that it went down and this stuff was happening. So I would like a little bit more information, but that's my position.
You know, a lightning strike's a lightning strike. Damage is done.
Yeah.
I was
wonder
hit
if
by
she's
lightning in 1980.
You were?
Yeah.
I wonder if she has any insurance. That might explain some things.
I finally fessed up.
What about insurance? I was covered by insurance. I wondered, I mean, I don't want to get too deep in this,
Right.
but,
Right,
you know.
So they said, I'm not sure that the insurance will cover the water bill.
They just got the bill, so they probably wouldn't have taken any action like that. It's just the bills that just went out.
do you know how much it would be if this was all at the lowest tier?
We'd have to calculate it.
You don't know how many
Yeah, I
gallons?
think I-
Her normal usage is
300?
only a very minimum, except for, of course, the summer, which is not much around.
No, we've had these before.
Million, yeah,
We've had these before,
we have.
and I've made that recommendation before.
I know.
What was the recommendation?
Meet them halfway.
Meet them halfway?
Yeah, be done with it, move on. Hey, I gotta tell you,
Did we bring them down, did we bring that $2,000 down to,
1,000, split it in half.
and then split the 1,000?
No.
Or whatever the,
No,
just
she's gotta pay
split-
yeah.
1,000, give her payments on it.
We have to pay for the water. What if we talk to them about this irrigation company, and then the irrigation company comes in with 10 pages of facts saying, you know, you guys were wrong in what you
You know
said.
what, we're not doing
I don't know. No.
that. Yeah, you know, set her up a payment plan, whatever. But, you know, look back, we've seen them before.
Make a motion.
well, we rejected them too, outright before.
Well, in some cases.
Yeah.
That's quick.
I'd like you to check my math, but I
Leave it
think it
alone.
would be right around $430.
Excuse me?
I would need to verify, but I think it would be right around $430.
So that's 300,000 at tier 1?
26,000, yeah.
Okay.
So it would reduce the bill to,
I need to verify that.
We'd have to
400
verify it.
something.
oh, that sounds good to me.
Say what?
If we charge them at just the lowest tier for
Oh, yeah,
all
okay.
of that, it comes out to roughly 400 and something.
That's cool. Pay for the water. Yeah,
Good.
let's do it.
I need a motion from someone.
I'll make a motion, we
I'll
do
make a
that.
motion to,
Or
yeah, at
Wait
the
a
lowest
minute,
tier.
one at a time, please.
you go ahead.
Make a motion to reduce the bill to the lowest tier. Which is
I'll
somewhere-
second that.
Yeah.
Which will be determined,
And to offer a payment plan if needed.
yeah, at approximately, I'll say $500. We'll see what, no, $450?
No, just leave it blank.
Just leave it blank, all right. That would be my own note.
It's safer that way.
This is-
Yeah.
Now we're good.
So that was Judith's motion, and Bob, you seconded it?
Yes.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
She'll be thrilled.
And a payment plan. Okay, Wellesley, on that one.
So,
It's irrigation season.
what was the final?
she doesn't know the final number yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Estimate around 400.
We don't want to say it till she,
First tier, right?
First tier.
yeah. So the next one is also an irrigation leak. In the amount of $1,000, and the resident has requested that we just consider working with them to come to a reasonable amount. Excuse me one second, let me get my notes. Apparently, this was a leak in a, was it a drip line? I read it, but I don't.
Looks like an irrigation leak again.
Oh, it's an irrigation leak this time of year, that's for sure. I think it was in the drip line, and it was, bear with me one second. Oh, okay, so this one, in terms of the causes, let me say I have a little more sympathy. Apparently, they were doing something with their septic service, and, were told that they needed to move a drip line to go along with the Board of Health regulations for where the septic lines are. And so in the process of coordinating that work between Robert Biella and the septic service work, and their irrigation company. In the process of all that, there was a leak in the, I don't know if it was the drip line, but in the irrigation service. It was a slow leak, so water didn't pool, and they weren't aware of it till they got this bill.
What about doing the same thing we just did?
So the bill is $1,000. $177,000 gallons. I want to see who told them that they had to move the septic.
They were selling
Oh, they were
parts.
getting ready to sell.
Yeah.
So it was part of a septic inspection. I guess I have more sympathy than the lightning strike because, if you're going through a septic inspection and the town tells you to take certain steps and you try to take them, and in the process of that, being between this company and that company, a problem arises. I can see the frustration of being caught between two. Wesley, do you have something to add?
Just that, obviously, we wouldn't be sure as to how much of this was caused by the leak because they have used this, if not more usage like this, at least 7 times in the past.
Oh.
So, and I guess the company, the irrigation company, did move the line. I talked with the gentleman, they came
Okay.
in. And they, basically what happened was the company came in, the irrigation company, moved the lines, but then another employee went back and moved them back to where they were going to excavate, but they didn't have enough time to go back before Robert Hour did the work. But they didn't feel comfortable, the owners didn't feel comfortable going back to the irrigation company and letting them know about this problem, about paying the bill. So that's why they're coming to you,
I
see if
see.
you make a consideration.
Yeah.
But it's a typical amount of water usage for them?
Well, not typical, but they have, in 7 other instances, they have used well over 100,000 gallons. In some cases, even more than the most recent one.
At
So,
this time
not to
of
say
the-
that they didn't have leaks back then, maybe
Right.
that's just usual consumption, but knowing that they had a leak, it certainly contributed to this amount, but we just can't be sure how much of that, seeing how they have used this kind of usage in the past.
Normally,
Some
they,
have, that's for sure.
this time they used 177,000 gallons. In the past, at the same time in the fall, they've used 72, 125, and on. So it's not as in the other case, that's substantially beyond their normal September, October bill.
Are they selling this house? Did you say?
Did
That's the idea.
did it sell? It didn't sell yet.
I think they mentioned it's on the market, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It says so.
What stage is that? I don't know.
The
They said
letter's,
they're attempting to.
the letter's not dated, right? So it's just,
Well, it came with, the bills just went out, so it's
Okay.
within, I forgot the date, we just got the bills.
so would we want to do same payment plan and different tier, the lowest tier, or not?
Well, and if we're going to entertain that again, I'd like to look at that section of the water regulations that talks about using the different tier, and I didn't bring my water regulations with me. Do we have any water regulations here?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, let's see, might as well if we're gonna. Of course, in mine, I have it all highlighted, but I traveled light today.
We could table this one.
Yeah, do you mean this info?
No, the section that says that we're allowed to use another tier, that's old,
So,
anyway.
did this leak before hour, after hour, or
What, honey?
this leak,
Yeah.
irrigation leak? Somebody was digging in the yard?
It sounds like when Our was doing the septic, these people were told that they needed to move the irrigation line further away, and when the landscaping company's employee moved it, perhaps then, that's when,
That sounds where the problem is.
yeah.
Yeah,
If they're selling, I don't know why they wouldn't want to contact their irrigation company, but that's me.
And they're selling the house, right?
We might as well have the reading of this.
Yeah.
so they think that, so they actually think that the leak was caused by the irrigation company. I mean, they actually state it.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is our irrigation company. That's what I think they were saying.
Well, I think that's probably where this one should go.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't see that as our problem.
Offer a payment plan,
Yeah,
yeah, but leave the amount,
they're selling the house.
yeah.
Payment plan ain't working too good.
Well,
It'll be an Eastover show.
that's true.
Yeah, I can buy the light now, but I can't buy the shovel.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we can look that up for
All
our
right,
next.
I have one here, I just can't find it within it
It's
Yeah.
all right,
right this second.
it's all right.
I'm gonna, I'll bring it in for next time, just so people have that page, because it will be something we look at a lot over the next couple of months, so. Sounds like a consensus is to deny.
Tonight.
Do I have a motion, Alan?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Uh,
4-0, and about the payment plan, did we specify?
That's fine.
An offer one anyway. And I will bring in that section next meeting, just, and give it out to folks, just so can be well-versed on that section. Okay, so that ends abatements. Thank you. And now we'll move to a discussion on the issue of grinder pumps. Jason has provided us with a copy of the policy, or the draft policy, I should say. And Jason, I had one question. So was this your markup so far of the policy that was presented by GHD
Yes.
on September 4th? Okay. I'll start and I'll say that, I like the way this reads, even better than the original one. My only problem is that, would you like a copy?
Yes. Oh, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
no, that's just the agenda, yeah. No, I need a.
Yeah. That's the current draft from Jason. We had talked at that meeting about having kind of like a working arrangement to accompany the policy, we're thinking on the run at that meeting, and, whether or not we needed some kind of a working document for storage, distribution, things like that. I'm going to take one of his. So I don't know, do you think this
So-
policy is sufficient? I'm
So
going to
this
let you
is-
take it, Jason.
Yeah, this is a policy in exactly how it reads. It's for the procurement, which would be the purchasing that the town will do. It'd be the distribution and the ongoing ownership. It just tells them, we're gonna give you, the town is gonna procure it, and we're gonna give you this. It has, everything else beyond that, we'll have to put into our rules and regulations. So the policy is here, our rules and regulations are up here. Rules and regulations supersede the policy. So we are going to have to, we'll have to take our rules and regulations and put more into the rules and regulations that have to do with grinder pumps. This here is just so that they can procure the grinder pumps for the people in town in phase 2 that need it. So once they're, and I do believe that there's a dozen people. We're also thinking about how we're going to transfer them, like get them to the owners. And that's still in, that's gonna be not so much the policy, but that's gonna be in afterwards on how we do it. I was talking with the girls down here, and they had brought in something, a great idea of why not do open gov. And have the people sign off for that at the Board of Health, and they thought that was a great idea. So we're trying to implement all that, because this is only for phase 2, 12 pumps. It's gonna be the trial period before you actually get into phase 3, when there's about 50 pumps and we're really going at it. And maybe we can have them delivered from whoever gets the procurement bid right to the people's property. Maybe they don't need to come here. Maybe there's, maybe we only need someplace to store maybe a half a dozen, 6, and we have a place that can do that. So those are the things that we're gonna try and figure out will be in place when we have them procured. So this right here is just a policy to give the town the okay for them to procure them and distribute them. That's what I got out of it.
I will throw in that, in looking at this, and we've looked at a lot of different towns' websites and things like that, but we have to remember that this is one piece of a bigger piece. Like, this has to have a legal piece where the people sign off and, they take we're not the only player in this, which is good. There'll have to be a legal document where they know they're taking ownership of this, and then they are responsible for it. And that's not our job to do that. We're really distribution in this. Go ahead.
Are the grinder pumps, do they get installed inside those dozen houses, or?
In the
There-
line,
It's,
right?
it's so, that's where it can be, as you read this, it's a grinder pump system.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come with it's the pump, it's the outside control panel, the electrical control panel with the battery backup and things like that. And it also has the, what it sits in. So it's about 8 feet tall, and it sits in basically a tank. And you have your pipe from your house, your septic, and it comes into that pumping chamber. That grinds it up, and that will put it out.
And,
It's like hanging a pump in a cesspool.
no, I totally
But
get that,
some-
but
Some could be inside, some could be outside.
the only thing I'm just thinking, knowing some of our town folks, is this something that I could install?
No.
Or
No.
does it have to be done by,
Has to be an engineer
Yeah.
or a certified sanitarian.
And
so
it's-
does that kind of language need to be in here? It just sounds
It'll
like the
have to-
homeowner is gonna
That is
show
our
up and.
Rules
do
and
that.
regulations.
No,
Okay.
this is a process that's been around for a long time. In some cases, where the property sits and where the sewer line is,
Yep.
it needs a little booster to get
Oh, no, no,
there.
I get that
Okay.
mechanic, I just,
And
it's
then
the
the
responsibility part.
And
that-
that's
You
already,
need
vague.
somebody to be responsible. So who better than the homeowner?
And they can't
He's
get hit by
right
lightning.
there.
actually, I
The
actually think
pump
that's,
signals it's in trouble, gives you a red light, you call somebody, either pump the tank and see what's going on with the
Sorry.
tank,
I think it's.
so you don't have these
Not
backups
so
and
much ours,
stuff
but
like
when they
that.
first
It's
set it
a
up,
super
they go to the
process.
Board of Health and that.
It's
Are
too
we
bad
look-
you have to have
Are
it.
we looking to take action on this?
But,
Yes.
what is it, 12, you say? Approximately 12?
Yeah, there's right around 12.
In phase
12
2,
12 to 15 in phase 2.
Yeah.
40 in phase
I
3.
didn't hear anything on phase 1.
That was Muddy Creek,
Yeah,
no pumps
no
needed.
pumps, yeah.
So, one issue I had is that, in reading about these, you know, what is bid will make a lot of difference for the residents. And I know it didn't get a great reception on September 4th, but I've done a lot of reading about battery backups for grinder pumps since then. And I haven't found anything doable in terms of an actual backup, but there were those sentry systems and other things which provide alarms to the people, so that if, for whatever reasons, power outage is a separate thing, but if your grinder pump stopped working, you would get an alarm in your house, so you would know to attend to it quickly before you had a backup. So, I mean, not knowing the difference in the cost of one with that sentry system or not, but I'd like to, certainly from our point of view, to have our residents have every possible bell and whistle, excuse me, pun intended, they could. Certainly the generator pigtails for when there's power outages, and some of the other things that I brought up on September 4th. So how do we insert ourselves into the bid process to make sure that we're getting what we want for our residents as opposed to what an engineering firm thinks is the standard? Yeah, or that at least we get the information so we can consider the differences. So I'm not sure, I feel like if we sign this, then administration, CWMP would take this and then go out to bid on something that maybe we wouldn't have input into.
Right, so our rules and regulations say that that has to have a pigtail like that.
Okay,
So So it does say that for a generator. And it does specify some things that are
Right.
in the rules and regulations. This is just for bid. And for the bidding process, we could talk to GHD and say, you know, what are the bids? What are you proposing?
Right.
We want a battery backup for the alarms, so that people, if the power does go out and they don't have a generator, that they'll know that there's an alarm going off on the outside.
Right.
Or, I'm not really sure what they have in there, if they have cellular, if they will send you a text message on alarm, I'm not really sure. But that's just something that you'd have to work out with GHD, the town for putting the bid spec together.
And I think the select board would be involved with that also, because it's going to affect cost.
But this is to get the ball rolling.
Right.
For them to stop writing the bid, for them to get the pumps in for the people that need it, so that they can hook up and do that.
So if we sent this back up to the select board for their approval, because they asked for us to look at it first and weigh in, that we could tell them those concerns at the time, that these are things that we want to be involved in since we have to handle them in the future, and that would be all right.
Just so you know, the other thing that I did some research on it, and they are bidding these with a 5-year extended warranty.
Okay.
So that is really good. We were worried about the 1-year warranty and when does that start? They are bidding them in their bid specs, they are putting a 5-year extended warranty, and some companies are honoring that warranty. So
Now,
that is really
does
good
the warranty start at purchase or at installation?
at purchase.
I would love for it to be at installation.
Right.
Because I might get one for my house, but I might not be switched over. Well, I'd have to have an order to connect, so I guess the sewer would already have to be in the road. But, I mean, it can take 6 or 7 months to actually start the flow.
Yep.
So that could be, if it purchase was 6 months, you could be a year or so into warranty before you're actually using it.
So
About
that's,
5 years helps.
that's the other thing that I had mentioned, put in the big bid specs would be on demand. So
Okay.
when people, not just ordering 50 pumps and getting them here and have them sit, but as we needed them, order them. So if I know that, you needed one at your home and you had an engineer working on it, they are to give us 2 weeks lead time, and then we can have that pump delivered either to your home or to here, you can pick it up, or somewhere.
Yeah.
And the OpenGov ticket, when people have to sign off on those, that will be through the Board of Health, like all their documents that they're doing. That's one thing that we had all talked about. That way, it's real time. Anybody can look that up and make sure that ticket has been signed off. So we can actually look that up down here too, right? And through OpenGov. So.
That part sounds good. The other thing that I had on my mind from looking at many towns was that, I'll give 2 examples. Many towns have the town enter into a contract with what I'll call as a maintenance company, just to make it easier for the residents. And that maintenance company would be, its services would be to, do any repairs or maintenance, but sometimes also they offer the service whereby if there's a power outage, then they would actually go to the homes, if the people want, and turn it on for 20 minutes. If you're going through a 5-day power outage, the grinder pump only has to be turned back on for 20 minutes. It doesn't have to have a constant power source. Now Chatham is doing that, but they're doing that to make it easier for their residents, so they would know the name of a company if they choose to use it, but it's totally at their own expense, which seems to be the direction we've been going in this town. Falmouth, on the other hand, did it, but they're footing the bill for all maintenance, installation, and everything else. So they're a very different complexion, and I'm not suggesting that by any means. But I do like the idea of at least exploring what options there would be for maintenance companies at the choice of the residents to use at their own expense. Just to find out if there's a way to make it easier for people, you know, so that they have a name and a number as long as they're clear that that's their own expense, rather than have to fight through, you know, who can do this and something like that. So as we go further down the road, that would have to be a town action. Rather than, you know, at the last info meeting, several ladies asked about, does this mean I have to get a generator? You know, so it's even if I pay for the service myself, if I was one of those residents, I would love to know that I could call this company, it would be taken care of, you know, and I would pay the $100 fee or whatever, but I wouldn't have to mess around with trying to figure out the right kind of company, so maybe that's something we can,
put it on our website.
Right.
We can put a list on our website. We can, once we know that we can also give it to the Board of Health.
Right,
The Board of Health,
right.
will put it on their website. And then once they put that, whatever system that they get awarded the bid, whoever the resident is, we can actually give them maybe a booklet or a pamphlet with
Right.
some documentation that's saying, hey, this is a number of people you can call, this is, you know.
well, rather than even enough, the reason I was thinking of one company, but we'll let the legal experts figure it out, is normally we don't recommend any companies in terms of installers, plumbers, or anything like that. But if the town had worked out an arrangement with somebody, then we could say, you know, this is one we support, or get whoever you want. So it would be a little different than, you know, telling them, you know, like we don't tell them which installer or sanitarian to use. So those are just some of my concerns from reading all of this interesting material. Go ahead, Judith.
And so they have a 5-year warranty usually?
We'll have to see on the bid.
And-
You can put that into the bid specs.
And roughly how long do they generally last?
10, 15?
Yeah, really, it also depends on the property, how much they're being used, how
Oh,
much, you
that
know.
makes
If you have,
sense.
you know,
Yeah.
one person, 2 people, 4
Right.
people.
What's
know.
going through it?
What's
Yeah.
going through it?
Yeah,
Is
How many
there,
teenagers you have throwing the
Yeah.
wrong stuff in there?
so it really depends on the property.
So
would we
will-
face,
Oh,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
would we face anybody coming to us for abatements on this after year 6? Saying,
Do we replace it?
No, they own it. Once they take it, they own it. Really got nothing to do with, this department never owns it. We're just handing it off.
But is it a
Okay.
one-time deal? I mean, if the
One
machine
time,
dies?
one time.
Do they,
What's that?
if the grinder is beyond its
Yeah.
life,
Then they would go out and buy a new
then the
one.
Yeah, they
homeowner
replace it,
goes
yeah.
out and,
Right.
okay, so it's a one-time.
Replaces the
Yeah, it's a
pump.
one-time purchase for the
And
homeowner.
another thing to remember about power outages is that if it's a seasonal home, there's no problem. If there's a power outage in the winter and they're gone, which is most common, if it's not being used, then it can't be overused. So if there's nobody in the house, then, and we have a power outage, we don't have to worry about those empty homes. Not that we would worry anyway, but.
so do we need to approve this, need a motion on this?
So does everybody feel comfortable? Have you, is GHD okay with the changes you've made?
Yeah, this will go to to GHD, the selectmen, and they'll do their first reading on it, and then their second reading. They may change some wording, they may, you know, and then they'll approve it. That way they can get the process started on putting them out to procurement and putting them out to bid. And
So if we send this up to them, would we maybe include a letter that outlines some of those concerns that we've just expressed and say, these are things we've discussed, but we're okay with this version? And from the audience, Michael.
Thank you. I think it's important that you put in writing that Jason should be part of the procurement process.
Okay.
I don't know how much more you have to say. He can certainly cite the examples that you did, but I think I would be more comfortable if Jason had a seat on the table, at the table before we go to procurement. I agree with you, it should just be in the mid docs, it shouldn't be part of policy or anything else. I think that that's crystal clear. But your concerns are valid, and the more we can go out to bid for the public, and the more add-ons we can get, knowing that whoever gets the first 10 will probably get the next 40.
Right.
We'll have a little bit of a buying power at that point. To Judith's point, you know, in the future, it would be good at least to have a relationship with this company, that if one of them goes bad, the homeowner gets the discounted rate on the second one from the company. I know we can add that into a long-term contract with one company versus just shopping it out each time.
Right.
Good.
But the point is, Jason has a seat at the table for the procurement document.
So actually, that suggestion sounds like rather than us staying in the middle and dictating some of these other things or suggesting some of these other things, we can simply say that the board entertained it. If we approved that, we approved it, but we would, whatever word, insist that Jason is part of the procurement process, and then you could add on thoughts in your role as part of the procurement process.
And if I may, I think the word "like" is good. I can insist it, you can like it.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but your opinion will
Right.
matter to the whole board.
Right.
And I will be as insistent as well.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
So
I'll
we
make that
will-
motion
Motion to approve the,
with the suggested changes or adding Jason in.
yeah, we won't change anything on this. We'll just add a cover letter, you know, saying
Like,
that Jason, that we like these things, but actually, we don't even have to say we like these things, because we'll be putting Jason there, and he'll say
good.
how much we like. So we have a motion to approve,
So
Yeah.
moved.
and a second?
I thought I made the motion, but whatever.
No, you did, but
Okay,
can I
second.
get a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
So, this is really a big step,
Yes.
Good.
and I'll work with you, Jason, on a letter to, so this doesn't have our signatures, which is great, because it's gonna be their policy,
Yeah,
now that I
yes,
think
it
about
is.
it. All right, so I'll work with you on a cover letter, and we'll get it up to them. All right, next, new business. So, this is kind of an interesting one. When GHD was filing the paperwork for the SRF funding for one of the current projects, I don't know which one, I'm guessing it's probably the dry sewer pipe. At any rate, they noticed that our sewer regulations, which we approved back in May of 2021, the sewer regulations were fine, the tape when we voted was fine, but for, you know, whatever reasons, as good as we are, the actual minutes had an error in them. About half of the actual minutes that were posted were deleted, they were cut out. And that's the part of the minutes that had to do with approving the sewer regulations. At that meeting in May of 2021, we approved the water regulations first, and that part of the minutes is fine. But when it came to the sewer regulations, if you flip to your section that has the minutes, you'll see that everything in red was cut out. So what it did not show was our vote, but it was clear on the tape. So, and we really need to have that, and we need to have those documents properly done and filed at the town clerk's office in proper order. So I will make a motion, and then I'll take any questions, but with that background, I would make a motion to reconsider the vote taken on June 9th of 2021 for the approval of the minutes of May 26th, 2021.
So moved.
I made the motion, and I think that's a second from you, Alan.
Yeah.
And Bob, that's why I was waiting for Alan, since you weren't part of this back then, I'm going to suggest that you abstain from these votes because you weren't here to actually go through the sewer regulations and everything else. We have the motion to reconsider. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and an
I'll abstain.
abstention? Okay. And now I will make a motion to approve the corrected minutes as provided by staff of the meeting, the way it actually went on May 26th, which included the approval of the sewer regulations. So I will move to approve the corrected version of the minutes of May 26th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And an abstention from Bob, so we have 301, we have a quorum. With that said, at the end of the meeting, Jason and Tracy are going to provide us with corrected forms, well, actually the sewer regs are fine, just with the proper signature page attached, and the three of us will sign that. Bob wasn't here, so, and that's when the actual work was done, so we will leave Bob out, so. So that's why we needed you, Alan, plus we like to see you, so.
Madam Chair,
Huh?
just as a point of order, Bob can sign them because he is a commissioner.
That's what I was wondering.
He abstained, but it does not preclude him from signing them because he was part of this action.
Right,
If he wants to and if you
Right.
want him to. It's none of my business,
Yeah,
but
no.
I weighed in on this with the AG and he can absolutely sign.
and I knew he could sign the minutes if he wanted to, but I get a little nervous about him signing the sewer regulations
Your
themselves.
meeting, your call.
Okay,
What was
I
that?
like that.
No, what?
Her meeting, her call.
Okay,
But there is nothing to preclude
Yeah.
because he was part of this action.
That's
that's what I
right.
was
Him to
curious about.
sign the regulation.
We're just
Yeah.
correcting something.
Well, well, I did that.
If you sign it, then you can't complain about it.
I mean, anything your signature's not on.
Besides,
I'm gonna let this,
well-
I'll let this one pass.
There was another problem. See, if he were gonna sign the sewer regulations, I would feel obligated to have an hour and a half discussion on the sewer regulations. It seemed like an abstention was easier.
Or as an elected official, I would assume that he's already read them.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm in the
I'm not
process.
going there.
It's great reading.
Yes.
I'm not going there. That's as far as we're going. All right, we're doing pretty good for a busy day, folks. So now I've managed to lose my agenda.
Here's mine.
Thank you. So
Waterworks
next
supplies.
matter is the bid for our waterworks supplies.
I've got an 11:30. Thank you all.
Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
we're almost done if you wanted to say anything.
I don't want to say anything.
All right, good to see you,
Okay.
Michael.
Come again, will you?
See you next year.
So,
Probably comes like once a year.
That's what he does. I thought it was.
Madam Chairman,
we're on tape.
we approve the waterworks supplies, Ferguson Waterworks, as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, first is Alan, second is Judith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I'm an aye. So 4-0, and that's approved. All right, I said, pardon me? I have to find one set of notes, folks, sorry, because it's got my notes about what happens next.
Madam Chairman, you have a signature sheet there?
Do you need us to sign?
They'll all come around.
Oh, yeah.
Folder.
You can use this one.
Well,
I haven't read
yeah, we've been,
Oh, okay.
yeah, please.
All right. Got it.
All right, so I misplaced my notes. So at any rate, is superintendent's report is next. Jason?
Yeah, first off, the lead copper service line inventory that was due to the state was submitted October 16th. I just want to say that everybody here, there's a lot of people that were in the office that worked on this. They did an excellent job in doing it. This was really a feat that, to get all of this work in to the state, they all did a great job. The staff here did an exceptional job at getting everything in. So everything's into the state on time, so I just wanted to tell you that, and they did a great job.
Good.
The other thing was,
That's it, is that an annual thing?
no, that was something that the EPA handed out to all towns. And DEP mandated every town in the state, that they had to do a lead service line inventory. And if you have any lead service lines, you have to have them all taken out of your system within 10 years. So, and that came from.
I don't remember us ever having them. Well, maybe we did in the 50s.
They may be a lead gooseneck, but there's no lead service lines.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Right. So,
Oh, that's good to know, because
They
that
did.
got really old.
yeah.
they actually had to go through each individual house and go on
Wow.
and put it into a spreadsheet. And they had to have all that submitted by October 16th. And they did an exceptional job. They did great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really did.
So I know that, yeah, the feds carved out funding,
A lot of grant money for
a
that.
lot of grant money to make sure, like, within 5 years that there aren't any
A
more.
lot of the older towns are gonna have their hands full with replacing them. Cities like Fall River, Brockton, like some of these old towns that have these lead service lines in them, they have to get them all out.
That was going to be my exact question. I've been reading lately about all of the monies that are going to go up. So, I mean, would we apply for any of those, or what's
No,
our
'cause
status?
we don't have to take any out.
We have
Okay,
none.
I didn't think so.
It would be the people that actually, the towns that actually have them, that they have identified, we have.
Okay,
Seems to me we
5,000.
did have them. I think of the house that I lived in as a kid on Parallel Street, and I can remember that lead bin coming in
It
the
could,
basement.
it could be that, or it could have been a cement line iron.
Yeah, no, this happened to be lead,
Oh, all right.
hooked onto the meter. Yeah.
So some of those have been taken out, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a
that-
lot of them have
I
them.
think probably
Yeah,
all of them,
yeah.
you know, consider.
And it's amazing that some cities and towns still have them.
Yeah, yeah.
Really
Well,
is.
you know, you take a city like Fall River, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine, you know?
Imagine doing those downtown.
no.
So,
No, not at all.
so my house, I think, is the 13th or the 30th to get water in town on Sisson Road.
Yeah.
Do I need to worry?
No,
Never
I'm
even-
sure, no,
Okay.
without a doubt, there's a copper line coming. You know, even black iron used to be used, but all that,
Not lead.
no.
What about inside her house?
That's it,
What,
no,
what about inside her house?
no, it's all changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inside's all copper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During some sale or something?
Yeah.
Once you touch that line into the basement, you know, it seems like, you know, everybody followed suit, you know? Pretty much, especially the old houses. Everything new doesn't even, not even a taint of lead in it.
Right.
But I
Maybe
grew
a-
up in Worcester.
Oh, I
God.
can just imagine.
See,
what that's
you got hit by
like.
lightning, but I grew up in Worcester. so-
But we're pretty comparable.
Worcester's probably better than Fall River.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
imagine Fall
Yeah.
River.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
they always seem dilapidated,
Yeah.
yes,
you know?
yes.
Oh, Yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah, a lot. An update on Bay Road that has been surveyed. There was an issue with so they came in on last Wednesday and they surveyed the collection system from manhole to manhole. That's what on Vicksburg Lane, they were having the backup. So we're waiting for the results from the survey company to make sure that that piece of collection system was installed correctly. I want to say CDM Smith.
Yeah,
It was CDM
Right.
that did that, so we're waiting to hear back from them. And then we can talk to the owners about that, or our next.
so, so that survey is done of the construction in the street.
Yes, that's correct.
So if that's all, I'm jumping, but at the right
Mhm.
pitch and things like that, then we
Yeah.
could have a discussion about other possibilities.
Correct.
What's the usual timeline for getting a survey like that done?
I just talked with Mark yesterday, and he said he should be hearing back from them any day now.
And that's Mark Drainville?
Mark Drainville, yeah, from
Okay,
GHD.
all right. Well, that's good timing, because that way you folks will have a chance to talk over the possibilities before our next meeting, when we talk about
Yeah.
if any action is appropriate.
I'll have an update on that. The Route 28 project, the water main project, that's moving forward. The borings in the road were submitted to Mass DOT, so Mass DOT will put their stamp of approval on it. We're meeting with the directional drillers out there on tomorrow. Steve Hicks and I and myself are going to meet with them at the boat ramp, where they're going to be putting that directional drill in there. So we just want to see how much room that the driller needs. So we're going to do that.
On the Route 28 project, it seems early October, but it's not that early. I'm wondering if this department should start to prepare for mailings and things like that, not until next winter, obviously after the holidays. But is there anything we need to do to start preparing like a list of addresses for all the residents and businesses along the way, so that when we decide to start notifying people, we have that piece done?
On construction, the date, I would get some addresses and start with that there. And I would wait until after it's bid to,
Right.
that way we can have a definite construction date of when it will start. And we can have everything spelled out by Mass DOT of our start date, how long we can
Okay.
keep working, if we can work through the winter.
Yeah,
And that way we'll have more information to give to the residents when we do a mailing.
right.
Or we do have something to talk with them.
I'm okay with waiting till after the bid, but I have to say that this was originally projected to be bid in April of 2023. And then on September 4th, we were told that the bid was going to happen in December of 2024. And then just a few weeks later, when Bob Drake was here, they said the bid was going to happen in February of 2025. So if there are more delays, then I think that's a real problem. I really hope they hold to the February 2025 bid date, because I know Bob wasn't here in April of 2023, but we were. And so I don't think they're looking at this as a project that's very much overdue. And also, the fact that we keep saying we have to wait for DOT, I'll again say that's only for half of the project. The other half of the project is totally water department. So I'll just put that on the record so you can let Bob know we're expecting a February bid date.
So even as DOT has the project with the dry sewer,
Right,
they still control a little bit of the roadways in the DOT of the road
Right.
that we're going in. So those are the borings that we had to submit to them.
Right,
So
right.
that's where he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
those. He was waiting on those, and I just got notified today that
Right.
they're waiting on payment, that the borings and all that information got submitted, so
yeah,
we're trying to
Yeah.
keep moving.
And that coordination is great
Yeah.
because it saves us so much money for that dot part.
Yeah.
But the part from the bridge to Lower County Road has nothing to do with dot, right?
It does.
It
'Cause it's
does have
still
to do
Route
with the-
28.
It's a state highway.
It's still state highway.
Okay,
So they need borings, they need all
Okay.
of that. They still need that information that,
right.
even,
all right.
even though it's still the state highway,
Yeah,
that we're gonna be going into, and they are,
Right.
they,
okay,
they drag.
got
their-
me.
Dot drags their feet a little bit.
Yeah.
And they just try and cross
Hey,
all their teeth,
yeah.
dot all their i's, and
You know,
it's,
and that's fine, I just always have to keep in front of us that we're paying for that, not through SRF funds, we're paying for that through our water revenue funds. And every delay, you know,
I agree.
1 year from April of '23, another year and another year
I agree.
causes, and that's our water revenue funds. It's not any grants or anything else, so.
I agree.
You know, so as long as that's the urgency, so. Okay,
And then capital projects were submitted
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, I don't know where it went.
for 2026.
The what, I'm sorry?
Capital projects.
Oh, okay. Can you, I thought we were gonna have a discussion about if we wanted to reconfigure some or push some off, or,
So what we had, I guess what we had talked about was, there were a number of water mains, the discontinuity
Right.
of the asbestos water mains, and we had a $1.5 million tag on those water mains. With everything that got pushed off 1 year,
right,
that 1.5 million, we sort of, I think that was a number that was allotted to keep that, like, keep that date of 2026. We really don't have any plans for, from design or plans from an engineering firm to say, these are the roads we want and how much would it cost? And get a good number to go to town meeting with. So we put in on that specific one, that everything got pushed off 1 year, we pushed that off 1 more year and put in for capital of $100,000 for plans for the discontinuity of the AC main. And that way, it'll give us a year to get a design, a plans, get an estimate. With that estimate, we can go to the town meeting in '27,
Yep.
for '27, and say, this is exactly how much it's gonna cost. So, and that gives us a little breathing room, because everything got pushed
Right.
1 year.
that's fine. And I would just say that we have an awful lot on the table, so I'm glad to hear that. But I would say that normally that type of discussion would be had by this board.
Yep.
And whenever there are any permanent changes, like after it goes through this year's capital plan cycle, this board has to vote, and I think we're even required to vote like 4/5 or something, there's some, to actually
Yep.
change the capital plan. So, can I get copies of the capital plan requests
Sure.
that went up? Because I noticed they're having their first meeting this Thursday, and I plan to attend, so I didn't know if things had actually been submitted yet or not.
So they were requested
Yeah.
last week, they were requested for this
Right.
Monday. I had to have them all set.
Oh, no,
on
that's
this
fine.
Monday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, no. I've got a file of our capital requests, it's the 6th, so I'm happy to have them on top. So, all right,
And that's it.
that's it, well, that's pretty good.
It's enough.
Is it? There's a lot of work that's gonna be done next year, an awful lot of
It
work.
looks like
Yeah.
it.
There's quite a bit.
Are we gonna, speaking of capital items, and I'm not pushing for it, because there's so much to do, but when would we start talking about the painting of the, which tank is it? Can't remember, which Pleasant Lake tank?
Yes, I do believe.
Yeah.
And I am, yes, so I have to get an engineering firm that's gonna write up the specs for that,
Okay.
and put it out to
Yeah.
bid. So. from
And that's
what
$1
I-
million?
What's that?
That's $1 million?
1.4, I think, yeah.
Amazing, huh?
Right?
An overspray. $1 million
Yeah.
on overspray. So yes, I have to get that written up and put that in so we
And-
can get that done.
We're in their own business.
I know.
And also too, won't know till another meeting when we have Sandy in here and can talk about it, but last year we approved contributing $1 million of our retained earnings towards that project to lower the cost of the interest and the borrowing on that. And now that it's going a year later, which is fine, we may be able to pay more on that out of our own funds once we have all the numbers in front of us, because the interest rates are extraordinary.
Yeah,
You know, it's
hopefully
not
we
something
can
we
do
do
that.
all the time, but, you know, we could possibly, I've seen sample, guesstimated numbers of what our retained earnings is gonna be, and it looks like that would be a good discussion for us to have once we have all the information, so we'll see.
Yeah. And then there was some other things that will be next year, for next year's. It's
Right.
a hydraulic model
Yeah,
of the system.
Oh, yeah.
So that will be next year. Too
Right.
late for this year, a lot of it,
Yeah.
because he was, okay, we need this Monday. So I said, okay.
yeah,
Sandy and I put something together and
yeah.
put it through.
No, I'd just love to have those forms before I go to that
Absolutely.
meeting on Thursday.
Absolutely.
And just for the board, Jason told me a little bit about the hydraulic plan, which I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
And maybe you can share a couple of words with the board.
Yeah, so I've been looking for the hydraulic model of the system. Hydraulic model is they take your tank, they run fire flow tests and flow tests out in the system, and they come up with a model of your water, how it flows, the pressures, everything like that. And it's really, really good to have. The last one was done here, I want to say it was 2003, 2005.
Yeah, nobody was trickling then.
Yeah, right. So I got a hold of the firm that has it, and they said it's so old that you may want to just consider doing a whole new one, because everything has changed. And I said, okay, so just working, we found the model, we found who has it, so that's good. And now it's just working to get some prices and different things on that, so we can put it into maybe next year's. And every time you do something to your system, they run a hydraulic model. So if you change a water main, if you put new water mains or what size water main, they can run this hydraulic model and tell you what you're gonna get your best bang for your buck. And,
And from my limited knowledge, weren't you saying like, let's say, I don't know, a development went in for 500 people, you could look at the plan and find out some of the repercussions that might be going to come for that type of thing, so.
yeah, fire flow, different things like that will be coming into a large.
Yeah, that seemed to be the more pressing issue anytime we've done it, the
Yeah.
fire flow.
And it's
What's
in-
fire flow?
A fire flow will be running a hydrant,
Yeah,
so you have enough water to sustain
Oh, okay.
a fire or something like that.
Mhm.
And with all the new water main and different things like that you're putting in, Route 28, you can actually run this model and see, okay, where else can I bring some water in from somewhere else? What size main and things like that. It helps out a great deal.
Speaking of new places, last night they approved the sale of the West Harwich Church to Davenport. So I don't know what's going in there,
Probably do apartments.
right?
What church?
The West
Baptist, I
Harwich, you know, you always tell me, take a ride up West Harwich, Noreen, you might
Yeah,
learn something.
Oh, Baptist Church?
Baptist
on
Church,
East
I
Hall.
think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting, since we just had the apartments at 5 Bell's Neck, and now the cemetery, and now that. But they get their water, I believe, from Route 28, right?
Yeah.
I know that in the capital plan, they said, is there a new tank? Or you want to replace the tank? I think there's a replace.
I don't
tank
remember off the
replacement.
top of my head.
Might have been further down the road, but that's somewhere where a hydraulic model comes into play.
Okay,
Do we need a larger tank?
yeah.
How is the elevation of it? Different things like that. It might be a 1 million gallon tank. Do we need a 1.5 million gallon tank? Is the population growing? You know, and how is that, so.
Well, I recall in the past, when the fire department was called, the water department turned the pumps on,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's something big going on in town.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, you know, they fire everything up, plenty of flow,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, so
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you,
That's before a lot of things happen.
And it doesn't go to the homeowners, I mean, it doesn't go and it's just the main system, right?
yes, just the
And-
main
And I was
system.
gonna ask, kind of tongue in cheek, could this also be something of measuring irrigation systems?
Well, you know,
Well, I mean, because it is a certain amount of
Yeah.
draw.
Just look at your meter.
well, you know, at some point,
Yeah.
you know, if we didn't do anything,
Right,
I mean, we'd have to post, don't turn your irrigation
Right,
on,
right.
or you won't be able to flush your toilet.
right.
Oh, that'd be a good notice.
Yeah.
All those green lawn people.
Who's writing that policy?
Not me.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that was the hydraulic model. And then we need a new flushing plan here.
Oh,
So we need a new flushing plan, and that goes along with the hydraulic model.
Makes sense.
So you can't really make a flushing program and a plan unless you have a hydraulic model to know the velocity and how much water you need to flush out of a hydrant. And so that all comes with the hydraulic model. So the hydraulic model really is your backbone of your system and how you look at things and how you prepare for the years to
so
come.
the only changes we've really had is more taken. And, yeah, we